There we go. That's the section. All right. Is it showing highlighted on your screen? Okay. So that's the pattern of a normal Shakespearean sonnet. So we have 4 lines in a stanza. Remember, stanza we said is a paragraph. So the 4 lines is called a quatrain.
Okay, that's a very big, trying to get your tongue around that one. So the structure of a Shakespearean sonnet is 3 quatrains with a rhyming couplet. So if in a test you are asked, what is a Shakespearean sonnet? How is a Shakespearean sonnet designed? What is the structure of an English sonnet? You can answer that by saying,
it is made up of 3 quatrains with a rhyming couplet at the end. Right, so that's a lot to sort of take in straight away. But I said there were 2 types of sonnets. Well, now we have an Italian sonnet. And Italian sonnets also have a pattern, and these rules, they stick to these rules, hey? The poets stick to these rules completely. So in an Italian sonnet, the rhyming pattern is slightly different. Because now we have A, BBA, A, BBA. So it's 4 lines, then another 4 lines, all right? Then there's a break. Now, here's interesting. With an let's go back. With a Shakespearean sonnet, the storyline goes all the way through to the end. With an Italian sonnet, the first 8 lines is an idea. It's a thought. It gives you the principle on which
But then the next 6 lines follow a slightly different pattern, and they have a different meaning altogether. So we go A, BBA, A, BBA, and then we go C, D, E, C, D, E. Right?
Where C, line 9, rhymes with line 12. Line 10 is D, rhymes with line 13. And then line 11 is E, rhymes with line 14. So basically what has happened with an Italian sonnet is that your poet is writing, telling you something of importance, telling you something that's serious or light or fun. And then in the last 6 lines, changes their thinking slightly and then tells you the why, the what, the how. So it's kind of like you would in writing as well. When you're writing a story, or if you read a story, you'll see how there's an idea and then there's an expansion on the idea. And that's how the Petrarchian sonnet is structured. Which, as I said, is different to Shakespeare's, which is where the story and the thought goes all the way from beginning to end. So we kind of looked at how it's designed. So I'm just flipping through a little bit more and see if I've missed anything.
So when we read a poem, and this is quite exciting. Now, this you have, because I think I uploaded this book onto the system, so you should be able to get it. This poetry book. Now have a look at this.
This is how you would read a poem. Firstly, read it 3 times. Why 3 times? Just so that you can get the feel of the poem. You see, often when I look at a poem, I read it and go, what a load of rubbish was that? I have no idea what the poet was trying to say. So then I read it through a second time, maybe a little bit slower. Like, it still doesn't quite make sense. But you know what? I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel something. And when you read it a 3rd time,
you start getting the rhythm of the words. Okay, so by the time you read it a 3rd time, you kind of feel the beat. All right, so here comes the challenge. You've read it 3 times. Okay, you've kind of got the feel. You're kind of starting to get maybe a little bit of an idea somewhere along the line. So your first question is, what is the poet saying? I have no idea. Well, let's identify the subject.
Well, the poet's talking about his girlfriend. Girlfriend. Okay, so now that we know that the poet loves his girlfriend. He's talking about the woman he's in love with. Right. So the theme is love. Okay, so we picked that up quite easy. So what is the poet trying to say about love? That's your next question. What is the poet's intention? Yeah, I don't know. Is a poet telling me that love is beautiful and it's all little angels and fairies and fairy dust or is he saying that love is a joke? What is the poet saying? I don't know. All right. Now we look at the poet's diction. Now, when we talk about diction, do you remember what I said diction was? Right. So diction refers to the choice of words that a poet will use. Instead of saying love, we can have adore, worship, admire, things like that. So it's the choice of words that a poet uses we refer to as diction. Now, then we need to look at the feelings the poem wants to raise up in us, because poetry isn't meant to stir up your emotions. Well, that's not always an easy thing to do with me, because I can be pretty meek. But poetry is supposed to make you feel something, feel love, feel joy, supposed to make you laugh, supposed to make you sad, make you want to sing a song, make you want to sit down and go, I don't feel like doing anything today, anything like that. Or it makes you think, oh, I remember,
bring back all those memories. So that's what a poet's job is in their work. So what emotions does the poet want to get? Then look at the form of the poem. So that's how you would read a poem. So now we've looked, and I've shown you already two different types. We've looked at the two different types of sonnets. What poetic devices? Now, poetic devices are the metaphor, simile, onomatopoeia, all those kind of things that a poet would use to get the information across. What are the unusual features? Are there any? Now, it's interesting that a lot of poets will use very strange features to get their message across. I don't know if you've ever seen, for example, some poets will be talking about the beauty of nature, and their poem will actually be written with one word, then two words, then three words, then five words, then six words, then 10 words, then fewer, coming down to a row of single.
Because they're talking about nature, they've now created a tree. So the pattern of the words forms the shape of a tree. So something unusual, something strange, something different. There might be some of those in the poem. And then afterwards, did it work? Do you think the poet got his job done? It's just, okay. So that's kind of how you would go about studying a poem. And that could be any poem. Everything from Baa, Black Sheep, right the way through to anything that Shakespeare's written. You can use the same rules every time. Now, here's an interesting one. Art wars. Okay. A, what is the poem about? R, what has been repeated? Because then things are happening. T, what is the tone? What kind of thing is the poet trying to say? W, words. Look for special words. A, alliteration. Now you know that alliteration is where sounds have been repeated over and over and over and over again. R, rhyme and rhythm, and then S, structure. So basically what I've done, I put the whole lot together into Art Wars, which is easy to remember. If you can remember that, if you can remember Art Wars, then you'll remember the various different steps you need in order to read a poem.